Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, Schill braces for the Hill. We have new details on the May 23rd congressional hearing.
Plus, reading room renovated. What students need to know about the updates to Deering Library.
And sneakers and sourdough, how a student's fresh breads are helping her raise money and run for a great cause.
All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Paris Franzway.
And I'm Maria Heim. We begin tonight with the latest on Northwestern University President Michael Schill's congressional testimony. Schill is to testify to Congress next week to address anti-Semitism on campus. The House Committee on Education and the Workforce calling for the release of documents and information from Northwestern and Schill's responses to the anti-Semitic incidents since October 7th. This is according to a 13-page letter released Friday. The committee says Northwestern's agreement with the pro-Palestinian protesters at the encampment is the primary reason they called Schill to testify. In an op-ed published in the Chicago Tribune on Thursday, Schill defended his decision. He says they said a flat no to divestment from Israel and that the resolution was possible because, quote, we choose to see our students not as a mob, but as young people who were in the process of learning. The deadline for Northwestern to produce these documents is Friday, less than a week before the hearing. The presidents of Rutgers and UCLA will also be testifying.
Meanwhile, small Israeli and American flags were placed on Deering Meadow Sunday evening and subsequently defaced overnight. You can see in this video the flags appear to be covered in red spray paint with a sign that says, quote, Israel has blood on its hands, end quote. According to an email from President Schill, a woman also tore down several signs and banners hanging at the meadow on Sunday. Schill says Northwestern considers both of these acts to be vandalism and encourages anyone with information on the incidents to contact the university.
Evanston is beginning work on the city's streets this week, while the goal is to smooth roads for residents. Businesses are concerned about the construction impact. NNN's Emmanuel Perez has more on the story.
What's supposed to be a thriving season on Main Street, businesses are bracing for the impact of summer construction.
I've lost 3 patients in the last 2 weeks because they say it just took too long to get to my office or to get home from the office, so they're not coming back.
On May 1st, Evanston put out a notice that the city would begin the asphalt pavement rejuvenation work project the week of May 13th.
So right now, the biggest thing is going to be access to the sidewalk. They have the entire sidewalks blocked off, and you only have an access point at 1 or 2 ends.
This comes in as some businesses hope for better communication on construction projects from Evanston.
The details that they give us in the beginning when we all had a big meeting seems they've changed, and we didn't really get updates.
Despite the construction mayhem, some businesses are looking forward to the end result.
They're working hard out there, so I'm at least happy for that.
But after an already hard couple of years, small businesses wonder for how much more they can take.
If you feel like the businesses in the area do add value to your life, just please still come out and support.
In Evanston, Emmanuel Perez, Northwestern News Network.
In response to the construction, the city is offering 4 hours of free parking at the 727 Main Street lot for temporary use.
The Housing Authority of Cook County is replacing 4 townhomes on South Boulevard with a new 60-unit affordable housing project. But one tenant is refusing to move, causing delays in construction. According to federal law, tenants can only be relocated with consent. Demolition can't begin until every household is vacant. Construction of the new housing comes alongside rising costs of living. The authority declined NNN's request for interview, but in a statement saying, quote, top priority is always to put our residents first, end quote. The authority's next meeting will take place on May 17th, according to its website.
Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss held his annual State of the City address last Wednesday at Evanston Space. In his hour-long address, Biss discussed accomplishments from the past year, such as banning flavored tobacco, a community response program for low-level 911 calls, and a vote in favor of Northwestern's Rebuild Ryan Field project. He also laid out his goals for the next year, including supporting migrants and redoing the city's zoning code.
The challenges ahead of us are so significant, and we're not going to meet them by trying to make Evanston great again. We are going to meet them by together envisioning an Evanston we haven't seen before.
Biss has not announced if he will run for re-election next year.
Pause for Patrick hosted a Mother's Day walk along North Shore Canal. Aria Wozniak is here to tell us about why this memorial was so special.
Here at Canal Shores, members of the community gather to commemorate and celebrate the life of Patrick O'Sullivan.
No family ever thinks that the death of their child to suicide is something that they are going to have to endure.
Patrick passed away 2 years ago on Mother's Day. He was humorous, gentle, inclusive, and a strong leader. He had just been admitted to Northwestern University. Patrick's mother, Laurel O'Sullivan, organized this walk past his memorial bench.
So we're so grateful for how many people are here and who've supported our walk and the Pause for Patrick organization. We've raised over $9,100.
The event partnered with Pause for Patrick, a charity dedicated to improving young people's mental health through animal therapy. It was created by the Romer family who lost their son, also named Patrick, to suicide in 2020. O'Sullivan, a part-time grief educator, says she was touched by how many families and community members took part in the canal walk.
I'm just mostly proud that I found a way to give him the attention that he deserves for a life that was so impactful and full of just integrity.
She says the walk exceeded their fundraising goal by $7,600 to provide 8 to 10 emotional support animals for young people in the area. O'Sullivan says she hopes the event serves as a way to help deal with people's hidden and ambiguous grief. Ari Wozniak, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Aria. The memorial hike celebrated Patrick's life on what would have been his 20th birthday. Coming up, how an Evanston third grader is making waves. We take a look into the nonprofit run by an 8-year-old.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back. Northwestern recently announced plans to renovate Deering Library. It'll be closed next school year, but what exactly is changing? NNN's Brandon Condritz goes into the stacks to find out.
One of Northwestern's quietest buildings won't be for much longer. Starting in June, Deering Library is getting some 21st century upgrades. Renovations will target Deering's large study areas in the third floor lobby. All the construction means students will have to find a new study spot next year.
If all goes well, fingers crossed, we will be reopening in September 2025.
New lighting and woodwork are being installed in room 208, shelves are being taken out of the Martin Reading Room to add more study tables, and crews are creating a new elevator shaft on the south side of the building for a larger, more accessible elevator. The university will add more seating in main library to make room for Deering's regulars.
I acknowledge that the alternative quiet study spaces may not be as inspiring, but I feel like it's a little short-term pain for a long-term gain.
But second-year Winnie Wang is worried she won't see that payoff.
I feel like it's just really bad timing for people who are like second years. This is like one of 3 different construction projects they have going on for the next few years, which is really sad.
And grad student Griffin Berlin, who isn't a Deering regular,
I do most of my work in my apartment,
says this project is just like the others NU is working on.
It feels so normalized to me, and that like universities are just constantly doing construction. It just sort of feels like par for the course of working / living at an institution like Northwestern.
For now, students are enjoying the quiet for as long as they can. In Deering Library, Brandon Condritz, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Brandon. Northwestern Libraries says new quiet study spaces will be set up in main library's towers and the periodicals room next fall.
A local branch of Meals on Wheels is expanding menu offerings. Allison Miller brings us more.
Meals on Wheels of Northeastern Illinois is bridging the gap in senior nutrition, now with a brand new culturally inspired menu.
As of July, we will have a third option every day that is specifically Latin flavors.
Jesus Morales and Jesus Zapata are the father-son duo behind the flavors.
The owners want to change something like for Mexican food. We know a lot of food Mexican food. Mexicans. Come on.
The pair of line cooks bring their childhood recipes to the Meals on Wheels kitchen. Food service director Sam Landman makes adjustments to ensure the meals will fit the dietary needs of their 1,000 clients.
We wanted good food that looks good, tastes good, and is also good for you. Good for older adults especially.
To bring this new menu to life, a team of 11 employees and 50 volunteers are needed to create, cook, package, and deliver.
Just because you grow older doesn't mean that you don't want to eat well.
Mac says about 1 in every 6 older adults struggles to access food, impacting around 30,000 people in northeastern Illinois. Meals on Wheels helps to mitigate this need.
So now especially we have the new menu, so it's more fun. Yeah, I like it. I like it for the new menu.
From albondigas to chilaquiles, the Meals on Wheels workers love what they do and the impact they make. Allison Miller, Northwestern News Network.
And some components of the new menu are already being incorporated in weekly meal deliveries.
Last week, 8-year-old Avery Jenkins was recognized by Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss for her service to the community. She is the founder of Avery's Helpful Hair, an organization that donates hair products to foster children. NNN's Ellie Skelly has more.
When you look and feel your best, you really feel good.
After a long day of 3rd grade, 8-year-old Avery Jenkins clocks in, ready to lead her nonprofit.
I can make a broad impact on other places too.
She's the founder of Avery's Helpful Hair, an organization that donates curly hair care kits to kids in foster care.
It felt very good to give kits to other kids.
According to the court-appointed special advocates of Cook County, around 70% of children involved with the Child Protective System are African American. Avery learned about this issue after her mother, Patina, heard about a foster mother who needed curly hair supplies to help style her foster child's hair.
I just gone to the store and bought Avery some hair products, and I went to her and said, Avery, can we give these to this mom?
2 years later, this act of kindness stuck with Avery.
And she's like, can we do something else? Is there another way we can help? Are there more kids like this?
Avery's Helpful Hair has donated over 100 kits to organizations in Evanston, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Jamaica, all from their family laundry room.
Like wherever I can put products is where we put them.
The kits consist of a shampoo, conditioner, style gel, and brush, all specialized for kids with curly, textured hair.
I also have hair like them, and we need special hair products.
Though Avery and Patina don't know what will come next,
I am really excited to where this might take me in the future.
From Evanston, Ellie Skelly, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Ellie. Avery's Helpful Hair Kits currently accepts donations through their GoFundMe linked on their website at averyshelpfulhairkits.com.
From blues brunch to bouquets, Evanston businesses offered a variety of ways to celebrate Mother's Day last weekend. NNN's Mila Branson has more on how moms spent the day.
Double Clutch Brewing Company takes a musical approach to its Mother's Day special. Featuring the blues kitten of Chicago, Ivy Ford, moms and their loved ones enjoyed a live performance and free mimosa with brunch.
But we want to make as many moms happy as possible.
Brunch offerings are a staple for the holiday. Evanston's Koi offers a dim sum brunch every weekend, but Mother's Day brings in special excitement.
On holidays especially, everyone there's this joy, there's this, palpable joy that you can just feel.
Brunch isn't the only way Evanston residents are celebrating Mother's Day.
Here at Seville Flowers, customers can buy a variety of arrangements.
We joke that like not everyone has a lover, but everyone has a mother.
Valentine's Day and Mother's Day are often the busiest times of year for Seville, with many giving blooms.
Most people aren't going to go out and buy themselves a $100 arrangement or $50 bouquet of, fresh cut flowers.
Cloth Plus Home hosted a trunk show on Saturday. It featured pieces made by fashion designer Perrin Allen, a flower stand, and small batch cookies for sale. Guests could shop for gifts for their moms while also supporting moms in need.
We love bringing a community of people together.
Cloth Plus Home donated 10% of their net sales to Bundled Blessings, a program that distributes diapers to over 700 children per month in Evanston and the surrounding community.
It's really nice to just take a moment for self-care for myself and just be able to maybe find a few items that I can bring and give to others.
Celebrating family while having fun. Mila Branson, Northwestern News Network.
Now don't worry if you missed this weekend's specials, you can still grab brunch or pick up a gift from many businesses in Evanston this week.
Coming up, why hundreds of Northwestern students brought their Wildcat spirit to one Chicago restaurant. We take a look at this celebration of culture after the break.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome back. The Northern Lights made their way to the Midwest this past weekend. A major solar storm caused severe geomagnetic emissions to travel as far south as Florida, allowing the aurora borealis to be seen across the country. Many students around campus ventured to the Lakeville to view and take photos of the spectacular sight. Now, Maria, I actually got the chance to go see the Northern Lights at the Lakeville this past weekend, and they were just stunning. Did you get to go out and see them?
I didn't, but I saw lots of great photos. And speaking of the skies, NNN's Jasmine Kim is here to let us know what temperatures to expect this week. Jasmine?
Thanks, Maria. Is there any way we can get another day of beautiful purple, blue, and green skies like this past weekend? Evanston Spring brings us yet another week of clouds and sun. Let's get right into the weather forecast for the rest of the week. The temperatures have dropped from yesterday to an average of 54 degrees, and it will remain cloudy throughout the day. We'll start off with a cloudy morning tomorrow, but the sun will finally be out later. The temperature will be at a high of 62 and a low of 50 degrees. Looking at Thursday, the skies will be partly cloudy. However, the weather continues to warm up as we hit a high of 71 and a low of 59 degrees. Friday is the last we'll see of cloudy weather for this week. Once again, the temperature will be up in the 70s at its peak. Who's ready for Camp Dillo on Saturday? The weather sure is. Make sure to put on sunscreen or a hat and enjoy the sunny weather outside. And this will be another warm Sunday in Evanston as we rise into the 70s. That's all for weather. I'm Jasmine Kim.
Thanks, Jasmine. Excited about those warm Dillo temps.
A late night celebration brought over 300 students to Gharib Nawaz, a small Indian restaurant that holds a big place in the hearts of many NU students. NNN's Giovanni Contreras has more on the story.
What started out as a group of Northwestern students enjoying some late-night Indian food.
It'll be midnight or 1, and it's like, hey man, we gotta go to Gharib right now. And you have to say yes, right?
Has snowballed into an annual event, including a live DJ, over 300 RSVPs, and a lot of butter chicken.
Your hand looks like this. You're eating it right. That means something's good.
The second annual Gharibathon started at midnight on Thursday, with a line of Northwestern students going out the door. The late night gathering is a celebration of community, connected by beloved Devon Street restaurant, Garib Nawaz.
We invited as many people as we could, people we don't know. I don't know half the people here, and that's what makes it great, right? Like, it's just a big community, and we're all getting to know each other over this place, you know?
But what makes this small Indian restaurant a Wildcat favorite?
Yeah, we have the most delicious butter chicken in whole Chicago.
Students say that the low prices, large portions, and 2 a.m. closing time make Garib Nawaz the best restaurant for a good late night meal.
If you see the amount of food that they give you for maybe $7, it's actually insane.
Students ate, danced, and took photos with the iconic wall menu until the restaurant closed.
Like, it gives people basically a sanctuary to come to late at night when there's no food available, and this is a good cause that we are coming and supporting.
In Rogers Park, Giovanni Contreras, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Giovanni.
Spoon University Northwestern's food magazine held its annual festival at the Arts Circle Friday. NNN's Ananya Chugh treats us to what this year's delicacies looked like.
Spoonfest gives the Northwestern community a taste of Evanston.
We just wanted to bring a lot of the local Evanston restaurants that we write about, we have a lot of events with, to campus to have exposure for students.
This included some local favorites.
This is one of the first times that we're actually out there selling our products. So this won't be the last, and next time you see us, we'll probably have a whole little showcase going on here.
Spoonfest even had special giveaways from student brand ambassadors. The event also promotes student organizations at Northwestern and some of their cultural cuisines.
So we reached out to any possible clubs, so we have Chabad coming, we have Hollow for Hunger, we have Indigo Social Club. The student organizations stuff, it's kind of just a place to give out free stuff that you have. It not necessarily has to be related to food.
Spoonfest Executive Board says it's seeing higher turnout each year, and it brings publicity for the organization.
Today, I would say 90% of the festival's attendees are students on their way to class, coming to support our friends who are in Spoonfest.
Spoonfest turning campus into a restaurant. Ananya Chugh, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Ananya. That looks delicious.
For visitors to the Evanston Farmers Market, Kikwaitu Coffee is a familiar sight. NNN's Victoria Ryan caught up with the owner to learn more about this unique coffee company.
Nestled among flowers and produce, Kikwaitu Coffee is a popular spot at the Evanston Farmers Market. Selling authentic Kenyan coffee and traditional Kenyan donuts called mandazi, owner Martha Itulia Amolo says the company aims to bridge the gap between
Kenya, where we were born and raised, and Chicago, where we've made our lives.
Itulia Amolo came to the U.S. for college and says Kikwaitu is inspired by the environment of the coffee shops she spent time in as a child.
What I want to create is a space where people can kind of come together and collaborate and, share ideas.
The business launched online in 2015 and has grown to 11 Chicagoland farmers markets. Kikwaitu first arrived at the Evanston Farmers Market last spring, providing warm and cold drinks for the changing seasons.
I like both of them. They're very flavorful.
Kikwaitu gets its coffee beans from small farmers in Kenya. Its website includes resources for those interested in learning about the Kenyan coffee industry.
Every point along the way is that coffee it touches so many lives.
The company hopes to continue expanding and maybe even create future connections with a famous Chicago figure with Kenyan heritage.
I would love to be in the Obama Foundation's library.
Sharing food and community, Victoria Ryan, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Victoria. Be sure to check out Kikwaitu at its website, kikwaitu.coffee, or on Instagram at Kikwaitu Kenya Coffee.
Taking audiences back to prom, NNN's Rachel Spears shares why some would kill to see this year's freshman musical one more time.
This weekend, Harris 107 played host to an annual tradition, a production put on solely by freshmen. The chosen musical, Carrie.
At the end of the day, while the show is really dark, it is pretty fun. It's a fun show to watch, and you do have a good time, even though some of the themes are a little darker.
Production began fall quarter, with a large cast, production team, and rehearsal room.
We tried to get on board as many people from as many different majors as possible.
Students from nearly every undergraduate school contributed to the show.
I'm not a theater major, so just being able to become involved with theater and making art on campus, even when you're not specifically pursuing that professionally is something that's really special.
And Taylor McMullen, the director of the show, says that the flexibility and perseverance of the performers, musicians, and everyone else on the team enabled students to try new roles outside of acting.
In high school, I was mainly a performer, so it's very, very interesting to be working on a process where it doesn't really involve me on stage at all.
The process created new friendships and gave Evanston an opportunity to enjoy some student-led theater.
Freshman musical is just such a great opportunity because it really gives the freshman class their time to shine.
The talent on all sides of the show, whether it's the cast, the directors, the producers, and everything in between, like, it's just so awesome to see, and it just reminds me why I love theater so much.
Getting your blood pumping through theater, Rachel Spears, Northwestern News Network.
For more information about Freshman Musical, follow the NU Freshman Musical on Instagram and see them perform part of their show again at the Stuke Awards later this month.
Coming up, how one Northwestern student shares their passion for baking buns and completing runs.
Go you Northwestern. Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
One Northwestern student is combining her passions for running and baking to enter this fall's Chicago Marathon. Logan Schijano has more on how she's turned her apartment's kitchen into a business HQ.
We'll put this in here.
School of Comm Junior Mary Kate Tracy has sourdough bread down to a science.
Set a 15-minute timer.
She started baking for friends and family over the summer.
But that kind of exploded into a full sourdough business when I came back to school this quarter.
It's called MK's Sexy Doughs, and with nearly 150 loaves of sourdough sold, along with all sorts of other pastries, Mary Kate never loses sight of what she started.
I remember the first time I got an order from someone that I didn't know, and I was like, oh my God, do you want to try some bread?
MK Sexy Doughs got even sexier this past weekend as Mary Kate handed out samples of her bread at the Evanston Farmers Market, and everyone, including me, had rave reviews.
I love the Evanston Farmers Market, and we live so close to it that I was like, this would be the perfect place to get my bread expanded outside of the Northwestern community.
And it's all for a good cause. Mary Kate's a serious runner, and she's using the proceeds from her business to enter this year's Chicago Marathon.
I signed up for to run it with Best Buddies, which is an organization that helps people with disabilities.
Combining her two loves with a carefree attitude as the secret ingredient.
I kind of released myself from that pressure of this has to be the perfect run, I have to run this much, or the pressure of making that perfect loaf, and just allowed myself to try different things and experiment with it.
Now she's hitting her stride, having just reached her $2,000 goal.
Every new loaf I've tried has been better than the previous one.
Rising and running. Logan Schijano, Northwestern News Network.
If you're interested in placing an order or learning more about Mary Kate's story, go to mksexydoughs.com. Now, Maria, I don't think I could run a marathon, but I definitely think I could try some good bread.
Oh, I could certainly try some good bread. She's got some great flavors. I think she has a basil, a pesto one. She also has some more sweet ones.
That sounds so good. That's all the time we have for tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us for our last regularly scheduled Northwestern News Report for this academic year.
Be sure to stay tuned for Politicat at 8 p.m. tonight and our Chicago special on May 29th.
I'm Maria Heim.
And I'm Paris Francois. Have a good night.